Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the media section of the India Banking Summit and Awards 2019. I have with me Jaya Vaidyanathan, CEO of BCT Digital Private Limited. Jaya, welcome to the media section.
Thank you very much.
Jaya, my first question to you. What is the game plan and strategy of Bahwan CyberTek for the Indian BFSI industry for this fiscal year?
Bahwan CyberTek, we aim to be one of the top fintech players for India. And to address those niche areas which are very much needed for the Indian banking sector, which looks at the best controls that you need to have for risk management. So a summary is to be a top fintech player, looking at the credit risk area, which is a much needed impetus for the Indian market.
Great. I think that's fantastic to hear right from the mouth of the CEO herself. Jaya, my next question to you. You had a fantastic panel session yesterday with some very eminent panel members. Now, what was the feedback you got from the fellow panel members and also from the audience from that session?
We discussed a number of things in the panel. The top question being, are fintech players perceived as a competitor or someone that's perceived as a client or a partner? And a unanimous yes was that fintechs are here to stay and they are a core inherent component of the competitive strategy of a bank, which essentially means areas where it's going to take the bank a lot more time to innovate. They look at fintechs filling in a key gap. So that was a key takeaway. And though we had it in our gut, it was great to hear that from the banks. Second component was more to talk about emerging technologies. What a big place of emerging technologies. There's a lot out there in the market. So you have the IoT, you have the analytics play, you have artificial intelligence, and then you do have 5G, and you have a number of disruptive technologies out there. So the question was more about what do you think is going to have a significant impact? And an overwhelming response was leaning towards AI. And from a Bahwan CyberTek perspective, we have also invested quite a bit on artificial intelligence for credit decision making. Again, a key point is that we are not looking at it replacing humans. We are looking at using artificial intelligence to make those decisions. Even humans find it hard. For instance, if you have 3,000 data points, it's hard for somebody to rationally look at that. And what gets feedback from an AI system would then help you decide. It brings all those decision points to some kind of pattern matching, which you can then use to make an intelligent decision on. Sure. So that's an application we spoke about. And overwhelming aspect of the panel was that they all seem to think AI was a leading player. And a lot of them were talking about applications such as chatbots, etc. 5G, again, there were mixed responses on 5G because most people felt that 4G itself was not squeezed fully. So it was an interesting panel. We also discussed risks. We spoke about the regulatory sandbox. We had a number of takeaways in terms of what do we do to mitigate the risk and make this emerging technology work for us.
Correct. And I think, given the kind of reception you had during the panel with the questions being asked and the audience appreciating, that was a fantastic panel session. Especially, you were very much appreciated for your viewpoints on the panel as well. So, that was, I think, one of the best panels that we had. Jay, coming on to the next question from my side, what are the new products and solutions which your organization is bringing in, which is going to benefit the Indian BFSI industry?
I think one of the top pain points, if you ask anybody from the RBI, would say the Indian banks, especially the NPA situation. That's a cause for concern. And you have the PCAs, and I remember our earlier RBI governor saying that if there's one thing that he would like to see change is the NPA situation. And that worries all of us who are passionate about development in India. And we have a suite of products that addresses the NPA specifically, one being early warning system. So that is something that measures incipient stress in a loan book, and don't wait until it's become an NPA. So do something before that happens, right? And maybe a contrarian point of view, but we had a lot of events happen, with Vijay Mallya's case, Nirav Modi, to name a few, and this didn't happen overnight. It happened over a period of time, and there were steps and controls that needed to have been in place, and we don't want a repeat of that situation. So I think early warning system is something that predicts incipient stress in your loan book and gives you addressable measures on how you overcome that. And that's an area we are, I would say, leaders in that space. And that is something that we see rapid adoption by PSUs as well as private sector banks. What used to be looked at as merely a risk management prerogative is now become a compliance requirement. And that brings more and more attention to the point. Another aspect of play that we work on quite a bit is in the area of model risk management. So model risk again is something that if you look at the Western world, there are big departments that just look at model risk management. And you have multiple rules. You have CECL, DFAST in the US, you have IFRS 9, and model risk is increasingly being looked at as a core competency of the bank. Because your decisions, your algorithms are as good as the model in which it's built on. So that is a key area that we again think we are very, very good at that. So we have a suite of 8 products that looks at a range of offerings from RAROC, risk adjusted return on capital, which is a pricing indicator, to looking at how do we manage the ALM scenario, which is asset liability management. All key and pertinent products for the Indian market. And I'm happy to say that a lot of the fintechs that you work out in India are global products that were launched and tried to be adapted for the Indian market. And I have some examples of how our car industry originally looked at the Indian market. Just take a global product and try to adapt it to the Indian market, vis-a-vis the Tata Nanos of the world, which kind of took the 4-person family on a two-wheeler and made it for the Indian market. So we are proud to say that we conceived this product in India and we built this product for the Indian market, and it's having phenomenal reception globally. So it was originally built for the Indian market, but with adaptations to local compliance and rules, it has a phenomenal reach in the Middle East and the US. So it's one of the examples of reverse innovation, and we are very proud of the fact that we built it for India.
That's great. I think fantastic how you have taken this product made locally and made it a global product, and we wish all the best for that. Jaya, coming to the last question, what is your viewpoints on the compliance perspective, especially in the NBFC sector?
I'm glad that we are looking at NBFCs very, very closely this year. And NBFCs have the same, have a lot more issues in terms of their ability to raise capital, right? So from a perspective of what they are looked at more and more as a bank, and the issues inherent in terms of either an early warning system, albeit a lighter version of it, a lot of concentration on ALMs. So what we are looking at is what we had for banks. We are coming up with a version of that for NBFCs, which is going to be, we call it light, LITE, and that is all of products will have a light version, which is for NBFCs. I think that is something that's drawing a lot of attention for the right reasons, and I think we have a significant play there as well.
Fantastic, and I wish, miles to climb for your organization. You guys are already one of the major players in the Indian BFSI industry, and I think the industry is very grateful to have solution providers like you who are actually solving the crisis being facing, that is the entire NBFC sector, the banking sector as well. So thank you so much, Jaya, for being part of this, and we look forward to work with you time and again, and thank you so much once again for being part of the India Banking Summit and Awards 2019. A pleasure having you. Thank you.